Hey, it's Jamie East here from the Smart 7, and today's episode is brought to you by Pension Bee and their award-winning Pension Confident podcast. Getting your head around pensions might seem overwhelming, but that's where Pension Bee comes in. They're on a mission to build pension confidence. So whether you're just starting on your pension journey, you're nearing retirement, or like me, you're somewhere a little bit in between, then you should have a listen to the Pension Confident podcast. It's an award-winning podcast that digs into topics that really matter with the help of financial experts. So that could be the basics of how pensions, ISAs or mortgages work, and things like how to get started on saving for a happy retirement. And a bit like the Smart 7 does with the news, they break down complex pensions finance into language that we can all understand. You can listen or download the Pension Confident podcast wherever you get your podcast from, or you can watch the episodes on YouTube. And remember, anything discussed on the podcast shouldn't be regarded as financial or legal advice, and when investing, your capital is at risk.
On today's Smart 7, Starmer delivers major cabinet reshuffle, Trump threatens war on Chicago, and much more. It's Monday 8th of September, it's Star Trek Day, and happy birthday, Pink.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
After Friday morning's dramatic resignation by Deputy Prime Minister and Housing Secretary Angela Rayner, the PM spent Friday and Saturday doing a pretty comprehensive reshuffle of his government. The big changes include David Lammy's promotion to Deputy Prime Minister, while Yvette Cooper moves from Home Secretary to Foreign Secretary, and Shabana Mahmood moved from Justice to Home Secretary. There were also a series of junior ministerial changes. Darren Jones, the new Cabinet Minister, says the reshuffle puts a strong team in place.
This second chapter, this second year of the Labour government, is now about optimising delivery against the promises of change that we made to the public. And that started on Monday when the Prime Minister announced a strengthening of the 10 Downing Street operation, including my appointment as his Chief Secretary in number 10. And he had been already considering a broader reshuffle, albeit on a slightly slower timeframe.
The new ministers got straight to work, with Yvette Cooper making contact with Ukraine's Foreign Minister and new Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood set to chair a meeting of the Five Eyes Security Alliance to discuss tackling people smuggling. Dame Emily Thornberry is one of those considering running for the deputy leader position, and she says it's important that Labour represents a wide range of views.
And I think that sometimes people in number 10, and it always happens, whoever the leadership is, when whichever political party can end up finding themselves increasingly isolated. And if you make decisions in a small group, you don't make such good decisions.
The drama on Friday somewhat overshadowed the Reform Party's annual conference, and they responded by moving leader Nigel Farage's speech earlier in the day. He described the Angela Rayner stamp duty controversy as screaming entitlement during that speech, but it turns out he also has some questions to answer on tax. He had to clarify his remarks from November about buying a house in Clacton, claiming now that his partner bought the house and that he doesn't have any stamp duty issues of his own. Deputy Leader Richard Tice was sounding delighted that the party was able to make the story all about them.
We heard from Nigel Farage. He moved his speech forward because Labour were trying to play games with the timing of their reshuffle. And that shows how nimble we are, we adapt. We're just smarter at this, and that's why we're leading in the polls.
Reform has continued to recruit high-profile Tories, with former Cabinet Minister Nadine Dorries the latest to jump ship. But Tory leader Kemi Badenoch said she's not concerned by the defections and insists that she is focused on what she calls authentic conservatism.
If people don't want to be part of living within our means and making sure that we're not spending £100 billion on debt interest, then we have a real problem. We are stealing our children's future. We're borrowing their money. That is not right.
Sunday morning saw Ukraine hit by the largest wave of Russian missiles and drones so far, with at least 4 people killed and dozens injured in cities across the country. The Ukrainian military says over 800 drones were deployed, along with 9 cruise missiles and 4 ballistic missiles. For the first time, a key government building was targeted, with the Ukrainian cabinet office in Kyiv hit, which started a fire on the upper floors. Following the attack, Donald Trump said he was ready to move to the second level of sanctions against Russia, but what that entails is not clear. Ukrainian President Zelensky politely but firmly rejected Vladimir Putin's suggestion that the two men meet in Moscow.
I can't go to Moscow when my country is under missiles, under attacks each day. I can't go to this capital of these terrorists. It's understandable, and he understands it.
Hey, hey, ho, ho! Donald Trump has got Let's go, hey, hey!
That was the sound of protesters on the streets of Chicago this weekend, making their feelings very clear on Donald Trump's plan to send troops and his immigration forces into Chicago. Trump posted an Apocalypse Now style meme on Sunday, which seemed to threaten that the US government was going to war with the capital city of Illinois. It may be that he's just overexcited about the renaming of the Department of Defense, which is now formally known as the Department of War. But White House border czar Tom Homan says his troops are heading for Chicago to begin a wave of arrests and deportations.
Look, I think it's worth being taken out of context. If I said we're going to war, we're going to war with the criminal cartels. We're going to war with illegal aliens, public safety threats that rape children, that raped citizens, that committed armed robberies.
Still to come on today's Smart 7, in association with Metro, Max Verstappen roars back at Monza and Daniel Craig teases the new Knives Out. Right after this.
Hey, it's Jamie East here from the Smart 7, and today's episode's brought to you by Pension Bee and their award-winning Pension Confident podcast. Getting your head around pensions might seem overwhelming, but that's where Pension Bee comes in. They're on a mission to build pension confidence. So whether you're just starting on your pension journey, you're nearing retirement, or like me, you're somewhere a little bit in between, then you should have a listen to the Pension Confident podcast. It's an award-winning podcast that digs into topics that really matter with the help of financial experts. So that could be the basics of how pensions, ISAs or mortgages work, and things like how to get started on saving for a happy retirement. And a bit like the Smart 7 does with the news, they break down complex pensions finance into language that we can all understand. You can listen or download the Pension Confident podcast wherever you get your podcast from, or you can watch the episodes on YouTube. And remember, anything discussed on the podcast shouldn't be regarded as financial or legal advice, and when investing, your capital is at risk.
Welcome back. It was a big weekend of sport with drama at the Irish Open Golf as Rory McIlroy won a 4-hole playoff to claim the title. There was international football with World Cup qualifiers that saw a 2-0 win for England over Andorra, while Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz went head-to-head at the US Open tennis, with Alcaraz coming out on top. Meanwhile in Monza, it was the Italian Grand Prix where Max Verstappen had qualified on pole and he managed to win the race, the first pole-sitting winner since 2019. Lewis Hamilton qualified 5th, but started from 10th because of a penalty and finished 6th, while fellow Ferrari driver Charles Leclerc finished 4th. Max was happy to be back to winning ways.
A fantastic execution by everyone, by the whole team. I think the whole weekend we were on it, and yeah, it's of course super enjoyable to win here.
The Toronto International Film Festival kicked off last Thursday for its 50th anniversary edition, and it's got a packed schedule of future blockbusters. Sydney Sweeney has grabbed all the headlines so far with her portrayal of female boxer Christy Martin in Christy. This weekend also saw the international premiere of Rian Johnson's latest movie in the Knives Out series called Wake Up Dead Man. Daniel Craig has returned as Detective Benoit Blanc, and he says it's a movie that will puzzle and delight audiences.
Owes a lot to they're called locked door mysteries, which are sort of impossible crimes that make no sense and that have no, any logic to them. They don't seem to sort of add up on first viewing, and also thrown into that is a sort of a religious aspect of faith and belief.
There's a new body horror movie on the way that could be this year's version of The Substance. Elizabeth Moss from The Handmaid's Tale stars as an actress struggling to break through when she stumbles across Kate Hudson's cosmetic company that promises a new life and a new look. However, it seems as though there are some deep, dark secrets behind the wellness programs they offer, and things take a bloody turn. It's called Shell, and it hits cinemas in October.
The CEO of the largest wellness brand promises to keep you looking younger forever.
All I want for our clients is to free them of self-doubt and inhibition.
See you on the other side.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.
If this back-to-school season, talking to your teenager sounds like this. With Boost Mobile, make it sound like this. Come to your Boost store, get a line, and take home a tablet for only $99.99. Perfect for staying connected and studying anywhere. They're happy, and you save. Visit your nearest Boost store. Requires ID verification. New $20 per month tablet plan and $35 device setup fee. Taxes extra.